Hello, my name is Steve Dubos. My call sign is Wolfpack. Um, well, used to be my call sign when I was in the Army and Marine Corps. But anyway, I wanted to send a message directly out to you guys, Snafu Radio. Um, I have been listening to you guys now for, I guess, about 3 weeks to a month. And I've caught pretty much all of the videos, and I'm catching up. Anyway, um, I refer back to a video that it was mentioned um, that or Dee mentioned that we weren't going to do what were we going to do. We weren't going to do nothing. That we were lazy, that we're pussies or whatever. Well, kind of pissed me off first, but then again, he doesn't know who I am, so let me explain it to you. I have done 6 months worth of research in my small town of Huntington. This town is just not right, and some of the things that you were mentioning on your videos made me or pointed me to the right direction to get answers to a lot of these things. Today, as I stand on my research, I can actually tell you the honest truth. All of this is documented. Everything you need to know, you just email me and I will shoot everything over to you, and you're not going to believe it. Some of the videos that I've heard from you about Tarrant County and those areas, um, I believe it because this is the good old boy network, and it works all over Texas. It's in play all over Texas. So let me just go over your things, the things that I know for a fact that I have researched and I have documentation on. One, from the year 2014, 2016, the Huntington Police Department has wrote we are 40%. I'm sorry, 40% of our income comes from traffic tickets on Highway 69 heading up toward Dallas. Now, for the entire time from 2014 to 2016, these gentlemen who were actually writing these tickets had not been certified. It is required by Texas state law that they take at least 40 hours of training, accredited training, and also do a period of 24 hours in OJT. Out of all the officers, 7 officers, no one had over more than 8 hours of training. They were also informed, and I got it directly from the chief. I asked him how he was calibrating his radar machines since no one had the education to be able to do so. His answer was to me, quote, "Oh, the car automatically does it. The car automatically does it." I know you'll research this, but let me clue you in, is that the only way feasibly possible or accepted in the state of Texas is that before every shift, an officer who's going to use his radar machine has to test it with a tuning fork. There has to be a record of this. Example, so if you got a ticket on this day and there was no record that he calibrated it, then the ticket is illegal. I stand for you, sir, to tell you and verify this. From 2016, 2017, all those tickets that were written were illegal. The machines that they were actually written down for on their speed was not correct, or at best, it's suspect. The other points is where it goes into where it gets messier is the fact is that what if you or I were going down the street and we got a ticket. In Texas, you get so many tickets, you get points, your driver's license get taken away from you. What if one individual got a ticket here and then had to go do a driving course, pay for it out of his pocket? How many of those individuals and how much money do they actually have to spend just because there was an illegal ticket on the record? The other thing is that we discover is that on a DUI, if you're actually pulled over for a DUI, and they actually pulled you over and said, well, you were speeding. Have you been drinking? It's not probable cause. So see, that's the first function that we realize here with our problem with the Huntington Police Department. Hang on, it gets worse. When asked for the records from 2014 to 2016 on all calibrations of these radar guns and the certificates. An FOI, FOIA request, was denied by the city attorney. His reason is that it would cost $787, and that's not, in his judgment, it's not what the taxpayer should be paying their money on. I'm sorry, but please correct me if I'm wrong, but a FOIA request is generated when you ask for it. Our taxes pay for it. We paid for them. But once again, this was thwarted. It does no good to go to the county because they're in on it. I'll explain that later. Our police officers are thoroughly engaged without any certificates that they are properly trained. They currently have chokehold at least 3 individuals. A lawsuit will be hitting on the first from an individual who actually almost died. Another individual also went down by a chokehold. After he had been tasered, they considered him to actually have to chokehold him. The comment was made at the time. The guy, the gentleman, when he came to, the comment was made, "Man, why'd you do that?" He goes, "Oh shit, I needed practice." An individual was sitting in his house with PTSD. He had called the 800 number, the Veterans Hotline number, designed to let them know if there was something wrong with his medication, if he was experiencing something abnormal with his medication. He was informed by these individuals to actually contact the local police department, or they were going to contact the local police department and get me a ride on an ambulance to the hospital for a 72-hour evaluation to look at my meds. Immediately I was accosted, I was tased, and I was actually taken down in a chokehold. How this is important to me and why, I understand your motivation, but sir, let me explain to you mine. I almost died that night. The night he put me in a chokehold, I almost died. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making this up. My wife was on the phone. The people on the helpline were listening. They were trying to tell my wife what to say to them, and they'd shut her up and push her out of the room. I was then cuffed. There was no reason. I asked him why I was being detained and why I was being taken to jail. The answer was, "You know what you did." There was no Miranda. There was nothing. I was put in a cell for more than 24 hours on a concrete floor until the sun came up and they finally said, "What are we going to do with this guy?" Well, there's no charges against him. We're going to put him in for a 72-hour hold, which I did. Now, they actually still had it on the books that I was resisting arrest, but after 24 hours, that's the only thing they could actually charge me with. But they never told me. So when my record is resisting arrest. However, the fact is that I did what they said, and I went to the 72-hour hold so I can get back on my medication. This has been on the books for 2 years. No warrant, no warning, no nothing, no information on what I needed to do after I got out of my 72-hour. The county attorney stated, "Oh, we made a mistake and we didn't call them. We dropped the ball and we didn't call them to find out the results." Please look up the HIPAA violations. The doctor-patient relationship. They don't have to release those results unless they are subpoenaed in court. However, charges are still being filed against me. I learned this because of the fact is that during a city hall meeting where I made a presentation that the city council was going to approve a water hike, 20% across, no, I'm sorry, 19% across the board. Here's where this gets interesting. First of all, for 12 quarters in a row, we have been in serious violation of contaminants in our water. There were 8 identified, 7 of which have all been linked to cancer. At an earlier meeting, the city administrator, who overstepped his bounds and doesn't understand that this is not his meeting, stated that $1.3 million needed to be raised before 2020 in case something happened to the number 3 well that we were currently already repairing. We were only on phase 1. So basically what they did is that they passed a rate hike, disguised it as a tax, disguised it, even everybody knows it was a tax raise. They got away from raising taxes on contaminated water on $1.3 billion that was not needed. At $1.3 billion later on, after it was enacted and it was actually produced, and the public was asked, the city administrator was asked, what did that money go for? So I just went to pay for our bills. Today in our county, in our city, there's 2016. We have 7 officers, 7 constables who roam our streets. We have 2 DPS officers that are always in the area. And on top of that, we got 2 game wardens. Sir, I hate to be the one to tell you, but when you come through this town, you will spot some kind of law enforcement officer looking at you and checking you out. So how does that come into play? Well, Huntington is known. I don't know if you guys ever do your research when somebody says Huntington, Texas. People say don't go through there. It's a speed trap. We are on the top. We are in the top 15 of the most miserable cities in Texas. We didn't make the top 10. That's why we're number 11. It has been noticed. It has been reported on it and used to post, and it has been even on the Fox News covered it about corruption in our town involving the police department. A book of tickets went up missing. And then a lawsuit was filed that they settled out of court because they couldn't explain the missing tickets. This county has reached the county because of the fact is this town is $4 million in debt, and we pay out more than we earn, of course. But sir, this whole city and county is corrupt because of the fact is simple. Sheriff's Department officers are acting as the brown shirts to do the will of the cities. I was arrested at that meeting by saying this. When they proposed the law and were getting ready to vote on it and voted it into an ordinance, little girls can't play softball on Sundays. It's bad for appearance. They should be in church. Now, sir, you've got a level head. Everyone knows that if you have a sense in your head, that's just discrimination. You can't do that. It's breaking federal law. One thing that I learned from you, it's my 14th Amendment, is the fact is that if you see a law being broken, especially a felony, you report it right then. I reported it to the officers. I said, sir, they can't do that. You're breaking the law. I immediately grabbed my notes, my pads, and I removed myself from the meeting, heading for the front door. When I got out to the front door, away from everybody's hearing, I said fucking bullshit, because I couldn't believe it. Immediately, I was taken into custody by a sheriff's officer, and grabbed me and pushed me up to God and said, we don't allow vulgarity in here. So let me talk to you for a second. Immediately, he cuffed me. I asked him, what am I being detained for? He didn't answer me. I asked him again. vulgarity. I reminded him that there was no sign on this wall that said vulgarity. I reminded him that I was not in any kind of meeting. I was on outside of the meeting. I was in the forum. I reminded him that he couldn't arrest me for freedom of expression. At that point, it dawned on him that he had made a mistake, I guess, because what he did next was he went into the foyer, and the acoustics in there are great. As I sat on a bench in the other room, he called and asked, what can I charge him with? He had no clue. I went and was escorted and detained for vulgarity. I sat in a jail cell for 8 hours waiting to be charged. The officer went to the phone, called his supervisor, called the city council. Together in this conference, they made up that it was a Class A misdemeanor that I had interrupted a meeting. I know you're going to find legal precedents, but I'll just go ahead and since you say this, I'll remind you. You cannot interrupt a meeting unless you've been warned. Hence, sir, you're out of order. Sir, shut up, we're going to take you out. Something wrong to that effect. It never was done. I left the meeting voluntarily to avoid a confrontation with the city council. However, I got it on record that somebody in that room advised the city council members that they were about to break the law. That's all I could do. And I got arrested for it. I have disclosed, and through my research, I have disclosed that the EDC is just a slush fund for the city. This is kind of getting off of your area of expertise, I understand, because mostly you guys talk about traffic and tickets and those kind of things, but I see you guys cover many subjects. Basically, the numbers don't add up. And the reason why is because the fact is the EDC doesn't carry forward the money they have from the year before. So in other words, there's a set period. Last year, it was $10,000 that was different. That just seemed up and disappeared, according to the budget. We currently lose $200,000 per year, and no one can explain where it's going. None. Our sheriffs and our police officers, they sit and they lay in wait against 2 individual places to where you have to give 12, well, you don't have to, but it's convenient for officers to give you 1,200 feet to go ahead and get to the speed limit. Sir, we've got 2 hills where they sit down, and there's a hill that comes up. When you top this hill, you go down, and the speed limit changes. It's right on the county line. In other words, they clock you when you're over out of the city limits on both sides. I cannot tell you the amount of corruption that we have here in this town. The reason why that I believe, maybe it's something you can check into, I don't know, I don't mean to go out on tangents, but here's what I believe and what I found out. A lot of individuals came to me when I started asking these questions. He said, don't go there. You're gonna regret where it leads you. Where it led me was, it hit me just the other day. I went through the red light and I went down about maybe 2-3 blocks, going down the sign to get me a hamburger. I looked off to the right and there it was right in front of me. Freemasons Lodge. Not only to mention it's the members of the EDC that are on the Eastern Star, which is a branch of the Freemasons. So I'm here to tell you that everything that happens in this town that is illegal, based on our population, they're getting away with it. Now I understand just like you do. We both got common sense. Sometimes in small towns things get a little skewy because of what people want, whatever, and then the law. Okay, it's the price you pay for living in a small town. But sir, at this time they have gotten away with it so much it's a breaking federal law now. They are breaking federal laws and they're getting away with it because the county has not been notified. even though they know about it. But I can't figure out the way to get them notified about the abuse from the cops. I can't get any answers on why they have not received any training. There's not one sheriff's officer that are here that has ever done anything to get their job except pick up a badge and a gun. And if you go through the list of those individuals, check and see how many names are the same. Nepotism. Okay, there you go. The reason for this video to you is this. I have done everything I can to get the word out on this. I have been to Gab, I've been to Twitter, I've been to every social media, I have put out videos, I have done everything physical possible to confer with what you're saying is true. I'm seeing what you have identified happening straight to me and our citizens here. My quest is simple, is to answer your call to do something. Stand up. Right now, with all the Freemasons around, I'm standing up pretty much by myself. I've been threatened, yeah. It's already gone to the point to where they've threatened, you know what? Well, you ever done drugs? No, I never have, and I really haven't. What's your truck? I was driving on Highway 69 going down to Lufkin. About a 9-mile drive. My brakes went out. I had an oil change 3 months prior to, and they surely would have noticed that I had a brake problem. And I never had one until then. When I pull out of my house here, I can see them right across the street, catty corner over about 100 yards. When I pull out going to the store or whatnot, they're right behind me, just waiting for me to screw up. I go to court on January the 8th. Here's the kicker, then I'll leave you with this. Every city council meeting that we have here is actually put on videotape. These videotapes are available through if you exercise FOIA requests. Well, I had a couple of my friends who had taped this meeting. I had a couple of my friends who had asked them and put a FOIA request on to get a copy of the meeting, and they received them. So in essence, I had friends of mine who had copies of this meeting, expecting this to go to trial, of course, because I wasn't going to play together this. Anyway, I digress. When it come out to time for the arraignment, one of the disclosure items that we asked for was that tape. When it came down time for the arraignment, my lawyer came back into the room and said, "Hey, bad news, we don't have the tape." I didn't overreact. I learned what you told me to do. Sit down, shut up. Instead of getting mad, I did what you asked me to do. Shut the hell up, and I did. I said, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, "City of Huntington, either they taped over it or they erased it." I asked him again. I said, "So there's no tape?" "No, there's no tape." I immediately told him, I said, "Well, I got one." I'm still trying to feel him out. Because after all, you got to understand, I'm dealing with the Masonic culture. I gave him a copy of the tape before the next trial date, or the next day that we were supposed to go to jury selection. He had came up and said he had lost the tape. He had moved his office, and he couldn't find the tape. Of course, I'm not stupid. I had another one. But as you led to your video yesterday about the Brady Law, that where's your evidence? I've got 2 witnesses that'll testify that I did nothing wrong. Where's your evidence? My question to you as in preparation for this trial is this. I asked my lawyer, why has nobody been subpoenaed? Why hasn't every city council member been subpoenaed to testify at this trial? They were there. Number two, why haven't my witnesses been called to verify my story? Why has nothing been done with this case? Here's the answer I got that's going to interest you. So what me and the city attorney is working out a deal. I don't know. What deal? There is no deal. It shouldn't even go to court. There shouldn't even be worried about this crap. But y'all don't put it out 3 times because the county is going to end up holding the bag on this. So come to find out, what they're doing is they're trying to word it to where the county doesn't get hit with a law. I can't hit the county with a lawsuit after all this is over. It goes right back to Huntington. Then my attorney said something real strange. I'd love to have your input. He said, look, I asked him, I said, why are we not going for the jugular on this one? So we've got them back in the corner. I said, I've been falsely accused, been falsely arrested, been thrown into jail. They can't figure, all this crap has happened to me. Why are we not going for the jugular? Here's his answer. Well, these guys are my friends. He's giving them away. I have a hearing on January the 8th. We're supposed to be going to trial. I have made it in all exclusive terms to my attorney that I am not going to accept any more delays. I am in a position now, because of the good old boy network, that my lawyer, I suspect of being a Mason, or the fact of the matter is, if he goes against the Masons any time, or just goes against the city or the county, he loses business. When I mentioned he was moving, did I mention he was moving out of another county? At the time before I actually hired him, he said, yeah, it's too much corruption. And that's what I'm fighting. Every law, everything that you have gone over has given me the motivation to look into it further. And I did. And what I found out was how do I say this politically correct? I guess maybe I shouldn't, but anyway, they're fucked up. From the floor up. And they're about to get caught, and they don't want to get caught. And what's the common denominator on here? The fact is, they've got to shut me up. The townspeople here, even knowing with full effects, the gatekeepers are going up to trying to protect these individuals. It's the elite mentality, and then it's us down here, with the cops running rampant in the middle, exercising the elite's rights. I tell you, gentlemen, right now, when you cross into this city, or the city limits, you might as well take your Texas Constitution and your United States Constitution and leave it outside. Next, they're going to have us actually go down to the city council or city hall and have it properly disposed of. These are crimes against human rights of individuals that live here. These are crimes that are felonious, and they are misdemeanors. High crimes, and they're getting away with it. I come to you to ask you, I want to make a stand. I want to learn how to do this, and I want to put them in their place for just not what they've done to me, but what they can do to somebody in the future, because they think it's okay. I want accountability. And I want them to understand that they not only just can make up the law and act under the color of law because of their position, that they actually have a standard that to go by, set forth to us by our constitutions. Like I said, I have a case. Unfortunately, I can't get anybody to even sit down and listen to me when they hear that it's up against the county or the city attorney. And I found the missing link. So I'm sitting here treading I'm treading in water, looking at what I need to do to get this thing started. My attorney advises me to wait till late after we get this done with. But I feel that the longer we wait, the more shit they're going to come up with, or maybe more they're going to be able to cover their ass. I have more, but that's the start of it. That's the gist. I would love to hear any of your comments. I don't want to hear this shit. Go, attaboy. Go get them. Whatever. I don't know fucking how. I'm all alone up against the freaking wall. And I got two things to do. Either I can walk away or I can stand up. And walking away ain't never been my way. I'm a goddamn Marine and a freaking Army soldier. By God, I don't turn away from a fight. So basically, I'm coming to you guys with my weapon in my hand, asking you guys to give me some fucking ammunition. I can be reached at stecwby33@gmail.com. Once again, stecwby33@gmail.com. I had to think about it for a second. I would love to talk to you personally. I would love to send you all this documentation, because I will guarantee, once you hear this entire story and just this part of the story based on what I've seen to you guys on the radio, you're gonna get fucking pissed. This makes Terrence County look like bullshit when you look at this. Yes, I can provide the documentation. Yes, I can provide you everything you need. Yes, whatever you need for me to prove to you that it's actually happening here and that we are getting fucked. You got it. Just ask for it. I hope you answer my video. I hope you answer me directly. I did get your message through, so I thought maybe that I'd give you my email, so maybe we could start a correspondence, so I can go back and forth with you. Open some ideas. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got a lot of time putting out these videos and stuff, and I do appreciate it. But it's time for me to get specific, and I need to know how to do it, and I need to know how to do it right, because I'm only going to get one shot at this. I got to make it right. You gentlemen have a good day. Love the show. I'm a fan. Every time it goes live, I seem like I miss it when it goes live, but I always get the recordings. My name is Wolfpack. Hit me up, please. You ask for people to stand up and help, and I'm willing to do so. Just are willing to make a stand, and I'm willing to make that stand, but I'm going to need a little help, guys. So hit me up, stecwby33@gmail.com, and I can send you whatever you need to verify all this. I guarantee you, once you see this, though, here's a hint. I'm going to go. If you see how this is going on, you guys are going to get so pissed off that you're going to get involved. You're going to have to, because I know both of you, when you get pissed off, you get pissed off, guys. It's Wolfpack. I'm out. Thank you, guys.